you're a prostitute. You're doing things for money. You're doing things for your career, and it's being pushed onto you, or you're jumping to it. That's what this is. So that's exactly what I meant. I meant every single word that I tweeted out.
What type of people were they making you sleep with? Are you talking about music executives, people high up in the industry, friends?
No. Executives and managers and agents and other artists that are on the label. If you don't want to sleep with an executive, they'll pass you to that. Or sometimes they just continue to pass the girl. So she just passed around.
And this was well known in the industry.
It's safe to say when I sit down with 90% of the producers that now want to work with me, and they go, "Oh, is it true?" We heard. They all knew. They all knew.
Well, Weinstein Gate has opened up the floodgates to the truth about Hollywood. Stuff that's been reported on for a long time, alleged for a long time. It's all coming out now. I'm calling it Weinstein Gate. And somebody that recently came out on Twitter is a guest that you're probably familiar with. Yes, there it is. Harvey Weinstein is just the tip of the iceberg in Hollywood and the music industry, folks.
No, thank you guys. You guys have been awesome to me always. So you guys are the first that I'm talking to, yeah.
Well, I'll just get right into this. This is going to be one of the toughest things I've ever had to talk about with somebody in an interview. So let's just get right into this. Now, you're specifically implicating that when you were younger and in the music industry, I'm using your words, you weren't in a girl group, but you were in a prostitution ring.
Yeah.
Do you care to elaborate on that?
Well, I mean, it's my truth, and it's something that I think the other girls need to come forward with. I left the group, and there's many interviews where you can hear me saying, for what went on behind the scenes, not in front of the camera. I tried to speak out in 2004 and 2005 with my manager, telling my manager at the time what I was going through, who, basically told me that I should have done what these desires were from some of these people. And then I tried again with media and press, going to them and them just basically going, yeah, wow, interesting, and then turning their back on it. And I mean, some outlets that literally, it's funny to see them, talking on mainstream news today and like what they're talking about and how they have a narrative. And it's like, well, I really hope that when TMZ and Perez Hilton and all of them, when they start, in Entertainment Weekly and all the ones that know, they all know the details of the dirt in Hollywood. And they keep it hush-hush because they're friends with most of the powers that be. They want to get the best interviews with the most current people. And, of course, at the time, I was not considered a current person to talk to when you're walking away from the institution that's number one in the world at the time. So no one really wanted to hear why this girl was leaving the Pussycat Dolls. It was kind of like, who cares? We love the Pussycat Dolls. It's about the Pussycat Dolls. But when I say that I was in a prostitution ring, what I mean is that each one of us, one at a time, were put into situations that were not conducive. Many of the girls took the bait. I was not one of them. And that's what I mean. I mean that we're controlled by the makeup was on your face, the color that you use, your hair, no tattoos, no piercings. Who you were dating was also up for discussion because it had to be someone that was within their community, the powers that be, their people. If you dated someone outside of that, you weren't a team player. Again, to build leverage on young artists and to be able to then hold that over them, which is why a lot of them don't come forward, is because they actually, even though they were abused and victimized, what they don't realize is that they are now dragged into being part of the villain side of it where, oh, well, you slept with so-and-so, so are you really going to open your mouth up about that? It's extortion that they have on top of being victimized, which is why I don't want to put girls that I've been in the group with out on blast, but I hope that they actually start speaking up. And for me, why it's imperative to talk about this today, last week I was involved in being on stage with, Big and Rich and Vegas was attacked and 58 people died, I could have been one of those people. Any of those people that were a part of the festival, I could have been one of them. So the first thing is that I'm still healing from that, and I have no reason to hide anything anymore in my life because I feel completely, you know, why don't I go after everything at this point? You know, people are not here. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is that now Hollywood's talking about it. Because now Hollywood's ready to discuss this, it's okay now for me to actually get loud. Because when I was trying to get loud, I was shut up. Each time I was told not to say anything, you're not going to get a job. And I mean, yeah, like my career was affected by it. I mean, there's no way around it. When you know things about people that, and I don't mean like small fish, I mean massive fish. And it goes all the way down to artists that people listen to every day that know. I mean, I went to artists too that were friends that literally turned to me and said, we should just do whatever they want. I mean, you're going to be famous. Literally. So this is why today it's my truth to say, you know, thank you, Rose McGowan, for coming and speaking out, and Mira Sorvino for speaking out, and the different women that are coming forward and speaking out. But there are women in my group that need to speak out. And I heard that, you know, now they're trying to do a reunion, and I'll be, you know, no way are you going to take advantage of the public anymore. No way are you going to leverage whatever you're trying to leverage to make more money and use the girls in a way that, you know, because they don't have a lot going on, most of the girls. So they want to jump for that opportunity. But I say to them here and now, tell the truth. That's your opportunity, is to tell the truth. They all know the truth. I walked away from it. And I'm going to continue to speak out about it, so they better get ready for it. I'm not stopping. This is just the beginning of me talking.
You've said so many things so far that I have so many questions of. I'm not even sure where to go. Let's start with this. Now, are you telling me that your experience being at the Las Vegas massacre and being so close to a deadly event kind of changed your process on this and made you want to come out even more?
I think it's made me just want to attack life. It's made me want to attack life. It's made me feel grateful that I'm here. It's made me question why some of us that lived and others that died, who plays God in that moment, so to speak. And if I'm here because this is God's will, then I have to do his work. And his work would be to tell the truth from this day forward, each and every single day of my life, and to be honest and to uphold a certain measure of accountability. And I'm a part of an industry that has covered things up for too long. And I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And I don't care anymore, because at the root of it, there are people that have to bury their family members, and people that are forever shattered for losing people that were part of a music event, a beautiful night of a festival that ended tragically. And so to wake up and be here and people are gone, what am I saying? What am I doing? And what am I living for? Those are my questions.
And you're also saying that you have tried to come forward on this before, much like stories we've seen with people trying to come out on the Harvey Weinstein thing and people spiking it, people holding it back. You're saying that you're confirming also similar stories have been spiked from what you tried to get out? Oh,
I mean, well, everyone can go Google search 2011 when Nicole Scherzinger, my ex-bandmate, you know, decided to say she was the only one that sang. She was the only one that did anything. Well, why don't we ask her why she was one of the only people that everyone saw? Why doesn't she speak up and say exactly what was going on, and the marriage that she broke up, and the people that she affected with what her choices were, because she was too was a victim. The eating
well, now I have to stop you right there, because you mentioned other girls. You've said other girls. Are you specifically talking about your bandmates, Kaya Jones, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls, or are you saying that there's even a larger conglomerate of females in the music industry that are victimized by this?
Oh, my God. I mean, the list goes far, deep, and wide. In the music industry, the running joke is, you know, you're either a tough girl, which we get, you know, coined to be a bitch, or you're a pro-ho. That's the running joke. I mean, everyone knows it in the music industry. We joke about it. It's something that we would joke about.
So it's like the same thing with Harvey Weinstein. We had all these jokes, late night comedy, 30 Rock, all these people joking about it. You're saying the same running jokes are going on in the music industry.
I spoke out about it in 2011, and you can see the article that they picked up, and it only talks about what I said about, the girls and Nicole. It doesn't talk. I said a long statement. Of course, they didn't want to use it.
Wow. All right. We're going to have more of that. This is Kaya Jones on the other side. She's talking about her experience in the music industry. Powerful stuff. Welcome back to the War Room. I'm your host, Owen Schroyer. We're joined by Kaya Jones, formerly of the Pussycat Dolls. She's telling her story of her experience in the music industry. She took to Twitter this morning and really put a lot on the line. Now, I want to get back into this with you, Kaya. You specifically used the word prostitutes, and I'm just curious. You're basically alleging that they forced you to sleep with people. Are you saying that that's what happened to you?
Yeah, they force situations where you have to either do it or not. You have to make a choice. And prostitution or, pornography in any way, to me is more honest, because at least this is what you do for a living. It's established, and you're not pretending to be something you're not. Pretending to be an icon, pretending to be somebody that becomes this focal point for young women to look up to, when really you're a prostitute. You're doing things for money. You're doing things for your career, and it's being pushed onto you, or you're jumping to it. That's what this is. So that's exactly what I meant. I meant every single word that I tweeted out.
What type of people were they making you sleep with? Are you talking about music executives, people high up in the industry, friends?
No. Executives and managers and agents and other artists that are on the label. If you don't want to sleep with an executive, they'll pass you to that. Or sometimes they just continue to pass the girl. So she just passed around.
And this was well known in the industry.
It's safe to say, when I sit down with 90% of the producers that now want to work with me, and they go, "Oh, is it true? We heard." They all knew.
Now, I want to talk about a narrative that's kind of being talked about now, where there's a debate. Are these women, yourself included, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way,
No,
Are these women brave that are coming out now? You have Jane Fonda saying she regretted not saying anything, or were they cowards because they didn't say anything and then more people were abused? Hearing your testimony, I can only imagine it's just probably traumatizing to even have to relive this and talk about it.
No.
Is it something that's is it something that's so traumatizing to even relive that, maybe people don't even want to talk about it? They'd rather just bury it deep. And now that they're seeing other people come to light, that's given them the courage. What do you think about this?
Oh, of course. I think that we live in a very evil world. The world is not a good place, okay? So this is all industries across the board. However, when it comes to powerful people, people protect them. And each time I tried to say my piece, from other record companies, I told when they wanted to sign me when I left the Dolls, and I would sit in with them and tell them my truth, and nothing was done.
So it's kind of like people are listening now, is what you're saying.
Oh, they're listening now because their house of cards is coming down. Mm-hmm. That's why they're listening. So now we have their attention because we're not fingers anymore. At the time, I was with one finger, poking, going, listen. Now we're a giant fist, because all those fingers are now in a fist. So you can't really stop a fist. A fist can have a mighty blow. And that's what everyone is seeing, is that each girl that comes out, it is a good thing. And no, it's not to get attention. And yes, other women have been victimized. To be honest, take a look at the girl groups that came after the Pussycat Dolls. There was Girlicious, and then there was GRL. Well, one of the girls from GRL committed suicide. The day that I was told this, I literally said out loud, they caught a weak bird. Because that's the truth. 21-year-old girls don't kill themselves, okay? But I can assure you I had moments of wanting to when I was in that situation, and I made a choice for myself by literally listening to God in my spirit and holding fast to his always telling me, you need to leave. This is what you need to do. If I didn't have faith in my life, I don't know where I would be, because a lot of my other bandmates stayed. I know they're not happier for it. I know they don't feel better for it. They turned a blind eye to it. I hope that they all speak. I really do, because I'm one of many, many. And when the names slowly come out one at a time, and you realize it's household names, it's names you watch, it's names you sing to on the radio that have gone through this, that feel that they're really, what it is intimidation. You're not going to get a job. And most of us didn't go to college or university. We started really young. This is all we have. So when you threaten your livelihood, or you're going to go work at McDonald's, or you're going to go do that, like, how? But I meant to sing, or I meant to, entertain. That's what my job is. It's not really easy to say that to people. It's easier said than done to say, just give up on everything. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is also you're threatened. Literally. I literally was threatened by men coming to my door, letting me know that if I wanted to speak out about things, that they would have a problem, that there would be an issue. So what do you do when you're a single girl, living by yourself in Hollywood, who's being literally told by goons that are sent by these people that if you don't follow order, that there's going to be a problem? And look at the record company I was signed to. I mean, everybody knows who Aftermath and, Death Row and Interscope and Universal, they all know these people. They're not upholding people in the community. Look them up.
Kaya, the story that came on the Daily Mail, the 7th of October, 2012, is the story you're talking about. It really makes a lot more sense now. But specifically, now that you're tweeting this, or even in the past, have you been directly death threatened?
Oh, yeah. But now I don't care. Because, like I said, last week, it was too close to home for me. It's my hometown, Vegas. People were gunned down who were innocent. So if they're going to gun me down, I'm going to go out blazing with my truth, so that other young women
do you feel stronger now or weaker?
100% stronger. 100% stronger. But I feel it's imperative now, through working through, everyone that was there was emotionally and mentally affected by it. There's no way to say that you weren't. If you were a performer on that stage, or if you were a patron in that audience, you were affected by last week's events. Even if you weren't and you're across the country, it is our worst mass shooting in U.S. history. They're turning it into politics and gun laws, and people are still trying to just process what happened to their family members and friends. For me, it's my hometown, what just happened here. And if it's safe to say that any day someone can just kill people for the sake of whatever their cause is or their narrative, then it's worth me speaking the truth now, because this at least is for the future generations of women that are going to come up and want to be singers. And they should know what they're walking into, or there should at least be a better institution in the music community where we don't do this to young women, where we don't push this onto young girls.
Kaya Jones, former member of the Pussycat Dolls, thank you so much for this exclusive interview.